Should you pick late or early dinner on your Royal Caribbean cruise? When you're planning your cruise, this is one of the first decisions you need to make, and I've got the pros and cons of both up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. When you book your Royal Caribbean cruise, one of the first questions asked is whether or not you want to have dinner early, late, or my time dining. And of course, there's advantages and disadvantages to everything, just like everything in life. So whatever option you select will be the time you dine in the main dining room for the entire duration of your cruise. And it's important to weigh those pros and cons to each traditional dining time and choose which is best for you and your travel party. You could, of course, skip the main dining room and go to a specialty restaurant or even the Windjammer buffet altogether. Even if that is your plan, you're still required to make a selection during the booking process. So today I wanted to talk about the comparisons of early and late dinner on Royal Caribbean and what you should know. Let's start off with something really easy, and that's of course if you're brand new to Royal Caribbean, you might be wondering what the heck is the main dining room all about? The main dining room is Royal Caribbean's traditional sit-down restaurant that serves a 3-course meal every night of your cruise. It's also the largest dining venue on any Royal Caribbean ship and spans multiple decks even on the oldest ships. Dining in the main dining room is complimentary. Each night you'll be presented a menu that contains different appetizers, main courses, and desserts. And the best part is you're not limited to one of anything. And everything is complimentary aside from a few premium options listed at the bottom of the menu. If you want to try 2 appetizers and 2 desserts, you can totally do so, no charge for that. The dining times, early, late, and my time, only apply to dinner service, as breakfast is first come, first serve. You can also go to the main dining room for lunch, but only on sea days. When it comes to the menus themselves, there will be a few new ones each evening that's centered around a specific theme, such as Mexican and Italian night. And if your cruise is over 10 nights, you may see repeated menus. Those that are unsure of what to order will appreciate the chef's recommendations at the very top of the menu. So let's now talk about what each of the dining times is all about, starting with early seating. The first seating in the main dining room usually takes place around 5:30 or 6 p.m. The exact time varies depending on your itinerary. With the seating, you'll be able to free up your evenings for shows and other activities taking place around the ship, even if it's just listening to live music in the pub. The early seating usually appeals to families with kids and those who like to retire early. With the seating, you can easily be in bed by 9:30 p.m., meaning that you'll be well rested for the next day. If you're worried that you'll be hungry later on, you'll still be able to find late night snacks available at places like Sorrento's or Cafe Promenade. For passengers wanting to dine around fewer children, it's probably a good idea to skip the early seating. Of course, you could be seated next to a larger family. If you do select late seating, nothing's ever guaranteed. Likewise, if you want to enjoy the evening entertainment, you may find yourself sleepy after indulging in a 3-course meal, especially later in the cruise. Remember, the shows usually operate opposite the dining time. So people in early seating have shows after dinner, and people in late seating have shows before dinner. So using that example, some people may prefer to see the earlier shows than have a late dinner. Finally, the early seating tends to overlap with sail away on the first night, meaning you'll have to skip the main dining room or select later time if you want to go on embarkation day and attend all the sail away festivities. You should note this tends to be the most popular dining option. So if you want to dine during the first seating, make sure you get it on your cruise as early as you can by booking it. Now let's go to late seating, because the late seating commences after early seating is concluded and the waitstaff has been able to reset all the tables. And that usually means dinner is no earlier than 8 p.m. For many, this might sound way too late to have dinner every night. However, there are some pros and benefits to selecting this dinner time. For starters, you won't feel rushed in the afternoon. You can spend more time by the pool or exploring the ports before returning to your cabin to get ready. Those with an early seating will need to ensure their excursions end with enough time for them to freshen up before dinner, meaning they could lose an hour or two in port. Later seatings also allow for more pre-dinner activities, whether that's a drink or an early show. And often, the service is more relaxed for late seating because the waitstaff is not nearly as worried about setting up for another seating afterwards. Of course, one of the biggest disadvantages is that you'll be staying up late every evening for dinner. It's important that you take into consideration your sleep schedule. Will you want to do other things after eating? And if so, will that impact your energy level the next day? You don't want to feel groggy during the daytime. And then, of course, there's my time dining. If you're torn between early and late dining, you may want to consider my time dining because it's a flexible dining option that allows passengers to make reservations during specific hours for the main dining room ahead of time or simply show up when they're ready to eat. This will allow you to eat at 6 p.m. one day and 8 p.m. the next if you so wish. Otherwise, you can try to dine around the same time, like around 7:30 p.m. each night of the cruise. It's meant to be an option that allows you to schedule dinner around the rest of your onshore and onboard plans. My Time dining, however, is not considered traditional dining. You will not have the same table mates and waitstaff every evening as you're seated wherever there's an open table. Plus, you need to make reservations in advance or wait for a table, so you're still deciding many months in advance what time you're going to have dinner. Many cruisers enjoy getting to know their servers and having them learn their preferences, which is why traditional dining is still very popular. So, which is the best option for you, early, late, or my time? The early seating is a really good idea for families with younger kids or those who just want to call it a night way earlier in the evening. Likewise, it's also the preferred seating for those who enjoy evening entertainment because when you finish dinner, you have the whole evening ahead of you to enjoy what's happening around the ship. On the other hand, if you prioritize daytime activities, whether that be excursions or lounging by the pool with a cocktail in hand, you'll enjoy having more time in the afternoon with a later seating for dinner because you won't have to cut your afternoon short in order to get ready. This option also allows you to attend sail away without compromising the main dining room experience on embarkation day. Then there's always my time if you're unable to make up your mind. But keep in mind that the overall dining experience will be a little bit different than if you select traditional seating. You'll neither be seated at the same table each evening nor have the same dining room staff. My Time dining also requires you to plan ahead a little bit, as you could be faced with lengthy wait times if you fail to make reservations ahead of time. I would say the biggest downside to My Time dining is that waiting around if you don't have a reservation. When you arrive for My Time, there'll be two lines, one for people with reservations and one for people without. And as you might imagine, the line for people without reservations moves much slower because the people that have reservations get priority. And don't forget, you don't have to eat dinner in the main dining room at all, or even every night for that matter. You can always forego the lengthy meal and head for a quick bite at the Windjammer instead for dinner, or maybe do a specialty dining option instead. When you're considering the times, my other piece of advice is to think about the fact that the way you're having dinner on a cruise when you're on vacation is very different at home. At home, I usually have dinner much earlier than I might have on a cruise ship. There's a lot happening on a cruise ship, and of course, you're snacking more often also. So trying to pick a time is not necessarily a right or wrong decision, more of a personal one. If you've never cruised before, my best advice to you is to go with traditional dining, see how it works. I mean, pick one, either early or late, really doesn't matter, and then make a better decision for your next cruise after that. I truly believe you're not going to make a catastrophic mistake that you're going to regret for the entire sailing. If you did, you could talk to the head waiter about changing your dinner times and moving to one of the other options that's out there. But in reality, I think most people find it works the way that they need it to work, or they work around the hiccups that you might get with one of these options. I hope this was helpful in helping decide which dinner time you should pick for your Royal Caribbean cruise. Let me know in the comments below, which option do you prefer and why? Looking forward to seeing your feedback down there. While you're below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.